were still just hanging out.
Yeah.
And there just came a moment where I was just like, I'm like, my friend, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but that's my dog, though.
Right. But like, that might be the move, you know what I'm saying? Like, relationship wise. So it's like my eyes just like came open to that possibility.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I remember calling my mom. I was like, hey, all right, you know, because she knew Janet. Like, you better do it right. You know, like,
I love Sabrina Hendricks.
you better do it right, you know. And so anyway,
yeah. And my eyes were open too, because of course, Chasten was in a relationship, so I didn't have eyes for him because my eyes did not belong on him. He was in a relationship, so you're off the market. I'm not looking at you any type of way.
Right,
and that's the way it should be.
Right.
That's the way it should be.
Absolutely.
And he wasn't checking for me because he didn't have eyes for me at that time. He was in a relationship, and that's the way it should be.
Yep.
But once we realized that we had eyes for each other, and it was appropriate to have eyes for each other, we started talking on the phone more. We started spending more time together. And the time we spent together, we were very strategic. So we did not go to each other's houses by ourselves. Like, if it was like, if he came to where I was living, I was living in an apartment with my sister and another roommate. Somebody else had to be in that apartment for us to be in that apartment together.
But why?
Yeah, so
that's the question.
So the overarching reason why is because we wanted to honor God in our relationship.
Right.
So, and we didn't want to put ourselves in a compromising situation where we're trying to serve the Lord, trying to do right, trying to honor him and honor each other. We didn't want to put ourselves in a compromising situation where we would fall into temptation and end up doing something that could damage our relationship and ultimately, put us in a situation where we're not in step with the gospel.
Yeah.
So we made sure if he came to my apartment, somebody else was in the crib.
Right. Yeah.
And when we were out and about, of course, it was just the two of us.
Yeah.
Whenever I went to his place, my sister was always present.
Yeah.
I did not go over there by myself because Chasen did not have a roommate. And so we made sure that we set up boundaries that would set us up for success so that we wouldn't slip and tumble and fall and end up in a situation that we were not supposed to be in.
Real talk.
Real
talk. Yeah, no, we did. I mean, when I think back to that time, I remember just a whole bunch of we did a whole bunch of walking,
we did
in each other's apartment complexes, you know, it's just like, well, I guess we'll do a lap around the apartment complex. Yep. I guess we'll walk around, you know.
But it was skinny back then.
But it was good, you know. Like it was good stuff. I mean, we had a lot of conversation, and we did it in a way that honored the Lord.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so with that, I think, we just had clear boundaries in the sense of one of the things that may shock people is that
shock to the system.
Yeah, that we made the decision not to kiss.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Until we got married.
Mm-hmm. And I think both of us just knew sort of that right there can be a slippery slope.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so it's okay, let's not even play with fire. You know what I'm saying? We're not even gonna play with it. So that was one of the boundaries, and then as well as just not being alone in situations where things could get, whatever.
Yeah.
And so what's interesting though, is because we were friends, it didn't take long to be all right, let's.
Right. Not at all.
Let's get married.
Right. It didn't at all. And I think that's what made it even more exciting. It's man, when we get married, we'll be able to touch each other and be alone with each other and kiss each other and all these things. We had that to look forward to.
Absolutely.
But realistically, I knew that we were going to get married once we started. Once we started courting or once we started dating, I knew we were going to get married. I didn't, without a doubt, there was no doubt in my mind. I was if Chasten and I start dating, we're getting married.
We're getting
And I didn't tell him that.
Yeah.
Like,
nah,
those
definitely.
words never came out of my mouth. But I was like, I don't see us dating and it just going nowhere, because we were both pursuing the Lord, both had the same vision of, ministry and serving God together, doing X, Y, and Z. So I did not think that this was going to be a relationship where we're just going to try and see if this works out. Like I was once we started dating, I was like, we getting married. I just didn't say anything.
That you definitely didn't say anything. Definitely didn't say anything. But yeah, I mean, it was clear. And I think that for me, it was like, you recognize that, like, and I've told people this, when I looked, the more I got to know Jay, the more I was like, I can see myself falling more in love with this woman as the years go by. It wasn't like, oh, this is the apex, right? And, it better stay right here, whatever. Like, it was more so like, I knew that the more I peeled back layers, the more I got to know you, I felt like, man, I could see myself loving this woman more and more and more. And then there was, like you said, we were synced up where it mattered. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like on, hey, the kind of community, we're trying to serve, the kind of folks we're trying to serve, like the kind of place we want to be, all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, when you find that, and then, you attracted to each other, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Let's do that thing,
But he low-key almost tried to put our relationship on pause. I think we have to mention that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because
I was overwhelmed.
He was overwhelmed. I think we have to talk about that, because some people might relate to it.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So there was one point early on when we started dating where Chasen was overwhelmed. Like, he had started, teaching at the school. He was with an organization that is very intense, and it's a great organization, but you work. And you're learning consistently, and you're put in environments that are challenging, and you're expected to just keep on going at 100 miles per hour, and to keep your head up the whole time. And so that was a lot for him. It was a lot of pressure, and he felt like I deserved someone who was able to give me more attention than what he would be able to give me. And it kind of caught me off guard, because I'm like, it's my senior year of college. I'm grinding. I got senior paper. I'm working 2 jobs at this point, all this other kind of stuff. And I'm like, you're good. I'm not asking for you to be with me all the time. Like, we have other things going on right now. I understand the season of life. Can you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah. I mean, it was just, I was overwhelmed, and really just, felt like, that she deserved better and more, and all that kind of stuff, and that there were certain things that I could not, like, just because of how intense my job was. Just certain things that I could not give the way that I wanted to, and all that kind of stuff. But, it was interesting in that time. I mean, I saw a part of who Jay was, in the sense of, like, she wasn't this, like, super, like, I need you to be on the phone with me for this, and all this kind of stuff. Like, it wasn't that kind of situation. She understood. And I must say, I thank the Lord many of times that he did not, use Janet to, like, not allow me to mess up a good situation. Because because of overthinking it, would have messed up a really, the best decision of my life, outside of, like, the Lord saving me, and making the decision to follow Christ, like, second best decision of my life, and I almost messed it up because I was overwhelmed, and I was overthinking it.
And you thought I had these extra high expectations of like, you need to be present with me. You need to talk on the phone with me.
Right,
you need to take me out every Friday and Saturday and take me to dinner after church on Sunday. And that just wasn't who I was. It's not what I was expecting of him.
But I think some of that came from previous relationships. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, but Jay, she gave me the space to handle what I needed to handle while me still being like, that's not a license for me to like not do and give what I can give.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But there was just a level of understanding. And so, and it was a blessing to me. And yeah, I mean, literally few months, what was that? How many months did we date?
Was it 4 or 5?
4 or 5 months.
We started dating in September.
Yeah, so that would, so about 4 to 5 months. And your boy proposed. I'm like, you know,
on my birthday.
Like, let's do this.
Yeah.
You know? And so that was, February. And we ended up getting married.
On June 25th.
June 25th.
Beautiful day.
So wasn't a long engagement, and it wasn't this like long period of time where, we were like struggling to
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's just like, all right, bro, just hold
on.
You know what I'm saying? And
keep them boundaries up. Just keep pressing.
And it was amazing. Our first kiss,
Yeah.
at the altar on that particular day.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
yeah, just amazing.